Hi, I'm Karen. We're here at Montavilla Sewing Center, and today we're talking about the Viking Opal 650. On this video, I'm going to show you how to take care of your machine. Now, one of the things the book is going to tell you is that when you're cleaning under here and removing your needle, to turn off your machine, and that for safety purposes you may want to do it, but for educational purposes, because I want to have light on what I'm doing here, I'm going to leave it on. Plus I've done this a lot of times, so I know what to do to keep myself safe. To start out with, you want to unthread your machine. Always cut your thread up here by the spool, pull the excess out here by the needle, and make sure that your presser foot is up. You got your presser lifter back here. The reason why you want your presser foot up when you are pulling your thread through is because that opens the tension discs and makes it so that the thread can flow right through. Now, why not just pull that thread backwards out of your machine? That's because lint from your thread can build up in here over time if you have that habit. Thread is meant to go towards the needle, not backwards away from the needle. Okay, so the first thing I like to do is take off the foot. The foot's very easy to remove. You just pull those toes, pull it straight forward like that. Then I'm going to take my needle out, grab onto the needle, turn the screw a little bit, kind of rock it a little bit. Sometimes it gets stuck in some of these machines, so just rocking it back and forth a little bit can help it get unstuck. You do not need to take out the needle clamp screw. So we'll put those in a safe place over there. Next, we're going to take out the bobbin. I'm going to take that out of there, so now the machine is completely unthreaded. Next thing we need to do is take off the needle plate. There are no screws to do that, so you take your screwdriver, put it under the corner, and lift it up like that. That's the needle plate. Then there's this extra little plastic piece here that kind of holds the bobbin case in place. You can take your bobbin case out. Now the bobbin case is a little bit tilted. That makes it easier to use. Your bobbin case, make sure you brush that off really good, all sides. Make sure that you got the lint all out of there. Then the hook area, make sure you got that all taken care of. This is especially important to do after you've sewn something flannel or fuzzy that puts a lot of lint in your machine. Make sure you clean that and clean in here between the feed dogs with your brush also. That's important to do. So I would recommend doing that as soon as you're done sewing that pair of set of pajamas or your nightgown. Clean your machine right after. Other than that, if you're not sewing a lot of really fuzzy things like that, then you can clean it, say, once a week if you sew every day, or even a couple times a week if you just sew. If you sew a couple times a week, just clean it once a month. That should do it just fine. Okay, now you can also use your vacuum cleaner hose attachment as you're brushing things out, and that will help pull the lint and dust out of your machine. You don't want to use canned air, that aerosol air that you spray that can push stuff further back in your machine. You don't want to use that. Also, I've noticed if you spray it long enough and hard enough, you're going to eventually put frost. It just sprays frost on whatever your something to do with the change in temperature or whatever. You don't want frost in your machine because that turns into water, and water is a big no-no for your machine. By the way, where you store your machine is important. You want to have your machine in room temperature like what you would be comfortable in. So no hot, dusty attics, no cold, damp basements. Keep your machine in a good, comfortable room temperature. Okay, so to put it back together, we have our bobbin case here. Now this little corner right here is going to fit right around that corner there, and this part is going to fit right on this metal rim here. So we just kind of scoop it under the feed dogs. I like to rock it a little bit to make sure it's right on that rim. Then we take our little plastic clip, put that little knob right there in front, and just drop it right on. Now this here has a little knob back here. You put that in the back like that and just pop it on like that. That part's put back together. Now I like to put my needle back in when the foot's off. It makes it a little bit easier to get it in there without scraping the pointy end of my needle against the foot. Can be done. You don't have to have the foot on, but it's so easy to take the foot off. You may as well do that. Now, the kind of needles that you should use, you do have a needle pack in your accessories, but eventually you're going to run out of needles because needles do get dull. Every 3 bobbinfuls of thread that you use up, that you're sewing with a single needle, make sure that you change that needle because by then it's getting dull at the tip. And a dull needle can cause skip stitches. It can also cause your thread to break or even damage your fabric. So make sure you use a fresh needle in regular intervals. And then once you use up the needles in your accessory pack, get good quality needles like Inspira. Inspira and Viking seem to kind of go together. You get the best results. The same thing with Inspira and Pfaff. It's not that you can't use the Schmetz needles or Classe, you can, but it works best to use the Inspira brand. Now, to put the needle in, we're going to put it in right there. I'm going to use this tool here. This does not come with your machine, but you can get this tool. It's a multi-purpose tool. It's, I think, a Viking product. It has this needle inserter right there. You can see if you look carefully, there's a little flat side. That corresponds to the flat side on your needle. So put that right in there, pointy end first. And now we have the tool acting like a handle for the needle. So start out poking your needle down there where it sews, bring it straight up into the needle clamp. Make sure it's all the way up to the top. You can tighten the screw with your fingers first, and then you take your screwdriver and tighten it screwdriver tight. Slide that down off of there, and your needle has been installed. Then to put the foot on, this little bar here goes right into the front of that clip there. Put that in, push it back, and it's on. So that is how you take care of your machine. You do not need to oil your machine. You can bring your machine in here for periodic service. I would say about once a year. If you do a lot of sewing, it would be great to have our technicians check it over, make sure everything is running smoothly, clean out any lint in areas that you can't reach, do any oiling that's necessary. But remember, you don't need to oil your machine. Just do the simple maintenance that I recommend, and your machine will take care of you. So I hope you found this video to be helpful. If you have, give us a thumbs up. And if you have comments or questions, you can leave those in the area down below. We have lots of other videos on this machine and on other machines here on our Montavilla YouTube channel, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Bye.